students and scholars, teachers and trainers, professors and professionals, listeners and learners, those who are listening, watching from the field of arts, science, commerce and engineering. Dear students, as earlier we have discussed different methods of teaching, how to teach English. We have discussed yesterday. Grammar translation method, that is the most traditional and ancient method of teaching English. Our native language, our mother tongue, we use in speaking, reading, writing and listening English. Any learner or scholar who starts learning new language, he needs to understand the sound and light of the language, which is the fundamental or basics of all the Indian languages. But if we want to learn international language, then we must be clear about its fundamentals and basics with concept of English. Our foundation courses of English will help a lot in understanding the word or sentences of any language. There are two prominent methods that we use in teaching English. One is grammar translation method, second is direct method of teaching English. In grammar translation method, we try to translate every word or sentence of the passage or text. But in direct teaching English, we just think in English. In this modern time, direct method of teaching English is very popular. In all the universities, colleges, in Indian and foreign universities, if they are taught with the direct method, it is very convenient and comfortable for them. In future, they can do research in the real meaning of language. Ultimately, we find that it is the use of English that takes us towards inventions, innovations and discoveries. All students of science, they can go in deep research of science if they have the proper knowledge of grammar. In spite of the grammar, if we directly think in English, it helps us in generalizing the topic and then particularizing the topic in front of the students. Every method has its merits and demerits. Grammar translation method is also have some demerits, disadvantages. There are some downs that we read in grammar translation method. But it is easy to understand if we try to translate the language. In our native language or mother tongue, if you translate the word or sentence, it helps us in understanding the concept. Our old modern English grammarians have invented and innovated a lot of things and technologies that can give us good understanding of speaking, reading, writing and listening English. Our scholars or learners, those who are studying in our College of Education, they are to adopt some teaching strategies. What is a textbook? What is the role of textbooks in English? A textbook contains selective and systematic knowledge. Its criteria are for coherence and sequence. It is simple to be understood by the intended learners. It is not a mere statement of knowledge. It uses various teaching learning devices to fulfill the desired instructional goal. In it, the subject matter receives a rich dose of pedagogy. It includes devices for practice, application, motivation, and fixation of learning. Thus, a textbook is said to be the teacher in print. It differs from an ordinary book as it combines teaching learning techniques and motives within it. In Gandhian's philosophy, he writes that a teacher must be right and master of its subject. When we talk about Indian educational technologies, we find that we are taught by our own holy books of this holy land. In all the different religions, we have the holy scriptures and we worship them as our guru, as our teacher. Everyone's holy book or scripture contains constitutional rights, rules and definitions, principles or doctrines of life that must be known by every kind of people, every kind of person of any community. If we have the basic knowledge of our holy scriptures or holy books, then it helps a lot in the smooth running of our society. Our Indian Constitution is the greatest democratic book for us, but particularly any person who is the followers of any particular religion, he is the disciple. By being a disciple or follower, he should democratically try to spend his lifestyle according to our religious teachings. In that case, we will come close to the nature. And this is the presence of nature that keeps us in present, makes us able to understand the existence of Lord or God, One important feature of the textbook is the true helper or healer for the student and any patient. Textbooks provide useful guidelines along which a teacher can plan his day-to-day teaching while actually teaching in the classrooms serve as reference books. They suggest activities to be taken up in the classroom and outside. Textbooks can be used to help the teacher in finding out new ideas. Suppose any scholar, he wants to explain, describe and define about any person, place or thing. Then he can define it. How? Firstly, is to generalize the topic with common ideas, thoughts and opinions. Secondly, in the next passage, he will try to write the body of the passage, means some particularities, specialties related to that particular topic. He won't try to describe it in his words or ideas. Ultimately, he will sum up and conclude that passage with providing outcomes or conclusions, helping the pupils. Second role of textbook in English, helping the pupils. A textbook is the most accessible guide. How? A dependable reference book and an all-time companion for the pupil. He makes use of it to prepare himself in advance for learning in the classroom. He revises and reinforces the classroom learning through textbook. He does assignments at home with their help. It is rightly said about our textbook. Our textbook is our blueprint that can never leave us alone. It provides its company in the form of words and thoughts, and imaginatively we create a different world in our surroundings. That's why it is rightly said about our holy scriptures, our holy books of this holy land, that our book is our true friend. We believe in the written words. Written words are in the form of Word of God for Indians since the time immemorial. Helping self-teaching. The textbook makes self-teaching possible through printed materials. A good textbook is an insurance against illiteracy at home. Printed material. After the invention of the printing press, we find that a lot of changes came in the 14th, 15th and 16th century period. By the invention of the press, encouraged, supervised, instructed, directed from the society. They tried to pat down it. So it is the use of printing press. Today, this modern time, media has its own importance, which is known as the fourth pillar of democracy. Print media, electronic media, digital media. And through the media or digitalized world, we have become transparent, we have become live, online. Through social media, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and oceanic changes we feel in the different educational technologies, providing logical and comprehensive material. This is the fourth feature of our textbooks. Logical and comprehensive material. Material that we are using for learning or teaching, that must be logical and comprehensive, on which we can logically interact, argumentatively we can interact, and that must be comprehensive. A good textbook sets a standard of maximum essential to be achieved by pupils of all categories. It provides pupils a direction for further studies, ensuring uniformity of the book standard. Textbook provides a highway for carrying better practices to all schools. The textbook ensures some sort of uniformity of book standard. It creates beauty diversity. It is possible only through the messages, by using communicative skills. We bring oneness, unity and equality in our thoughts and ideas by receiving and sending of the messages. It is also possible through the textbook. So textbook is necessarily to be provided in the schools, colleges and universities. As we see a great change in our educational technology is being established in the form of libraries. Our own scholars, those who are studying in college, apart from that, they are preparing themselves for sitting in any competitive examination. They are regularly visiting libraries. Different libraries are being established printingly, electronically, and digitally. That helps them going in the research. That helps them in doing self-study, providing base for both the teacher and the pupils. A textbook contains a minimum essential knowledge. It can provide at a point of departure for a more comprehensive living. It focuses attention on the same issues, events, sequences, and and circumstances and serves a relying point. So it is providing base for both the teacher and the pupils. What is the criteria for a good English textbook? Describe the criteria for selecting a good English textbook. Achieving the purpose of teaching. One criteria for selecting a good English textbook is achieving the purpose of teaching. A textbook should enable children to appreciate India's cultural heritage and to recognize. It is very necessary to provide the fundamental knowledge of all subjects to our scholars, beginners, those who take admission in schools. They must be aware of their history. They must be given the knowledge of their society. The textbook should provide the understandings necessary for the promotion of national goals through its content, style of presentation, exercises and illustrations. Second criteria for selecting a good English textbook is child-centered. A good textbook is suitable to the age, ability and interest of the pupils. It should be addressed to pupils of a particular age group and of a particular society. Particularity of age group and particularity of society must be clear to the child in learning. All kind of study material cannot be taught all students as per their age, as per their society. We have to define, explain, describe the different topics. As the word of the child expands with his growth, a textbook must reflect the stage he has reached. According to that, we teach prescribed syllabus for the different classes. Third is clear and self-explanatory arrangement. It is very important in all the textbooks that we are using. Concept must be clear and self-explanatory arrangement. A textbook should have a detailed table of contents. Its material should be arranged under headings, subheadings, and to be easily comprehended by the pupils. Fourth criteria for a good English textbook is opening up various avenues of thought and study. The textbook should create interest and help to develop it by suggestions as to how the matter given in the book may be followed and developed. It should suit to the age of the pupils. It should give reference to other books on the same subject. Thus, it should widen the outlook of the pupils. It develops their interest and opens new vistas of knowledge and discovery. So, opening up various avenues of thought and studies. If we are doing research at any topic, then our knowledge, information, instructions, directions regarding any particular topic should not be confined. But there should be possibilities to go in deep of the research. Language suitable for the reading age of the pupils. The textbook should be written in simple sentences for the younger children. It is essential to establish an effective communication with them. Its language should be accurate and appropriate to help in enriching children's language. As far as we talk about the language of the textbook, that should be convenient, comfortable, easy to understand, readable, and knowledgeable for our youngsters. Well illustrated. Very important feature of the textbook, that should be well illustrated. Means it should be amplified. A textbook should be illustrated through visual aids such as photographs, maps, pictures and picture diagrams. Illustrations should be well chosen and connected with the main theme of abstract concept. Colored illustrations have an important place in textbook for primary classes. Illustrations should be such that the children may easily make out the various details. Next is simple, interesting and attractive. Study material of the text must be simple, interesting and attractive. The textbook should be simple, interesting and attractive. Which should give exercises at the end of a unit or topic. Which should enable the pupils to focus their attention on the right points in the discussion for concentrated study, free from indoctrination. A good textbook presents a comparative view of the ideas of different people expressed on a particular phase of life. It should not contain extreme nationalism. In our all schools, colleges, universities, the education that we provide to the students, education never plays the role of fanaticism or orthodoxy, but it creates flexibility in their behavior. It makes them open-minded, free thinkers. It makes them to follow the secularist term of the Constitution. As it is said about our holy nation that there is no discrimination on the basis of caste, color, creed and languages, but all are treated, accepted equally. It should not contain extreme nationalism. It should tell only the truth, the whole truth and nothing but truth. Dear friends, as we see in the history, by the negative motivation over nationalism, it started Second World War in 1938. Hitler and Mussolini, these were the two persons, whether they were well and good for their nation, but one person by their over nationalism that changed them from democracy to dictatorship. So by being dictator, they demolished, devastated the humanity and created war-like situation, exploitation, violations became common in the world. That is harmful. So this condition of over nationalism is not well and good for our educational institutes. It should tell only the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but truth. Up to date, a good textbook should be frequently revised to eliminate absolute statements. Every year we find new versions, new publications, whether our topic or title remains the same. But we have to bring innovative and inventive change by the change of time, place and action. It is very necessary. Without maintaining, upgrading, updating, we cannot get the true knowledge of the modern time. It must contain the latest information based on recent research. Our researchers, those who are studying in India and abroad, in the different universities, in California, Oxford, Cambridge, Pennsylvania, Atlanta, Harvard University of the USA, just they are busy doing research on such topics which are irrelevant. But the most relevant topic is the related to our nature, related to our spiritual values, that can maintain humanity in the world, that can establish peace and prosperity in the world. Their topics or research or title may be useful if it develops humanity in the society or nation. If any topic, any title, any research create imbalance, disturbance, not only in the minds of the human, but also in the nature of society, then they should think that they are to change their topic of research. As per the observations, we find that our positive ideas, positive motivation always helps us in overcoming from frustrations, depressions. Our President Ch.R.R. Modi ji, who is in the USA, addressed the worldly people about our cultural values, spiritual values. He provided a great message. Today, it is the Indian land. By being nationalistic, humanistic, patriotistic, our country suggests, advises to the developed countries how should they maintain peace and prosperity. All the presidential governing bodies of the different countries seek the guidance from our President Ch.R.R. Modi ji. What a great thing of proud for our Indians. Containing a subject in text classes should contain a subject index at the end. It helps in developing independent study habits in pupils. It facilitates a combination of topics with chronological approach. Systematically, orderly, if we define the incidents or movements, it is easy to learn for our scholars, easy to understand. By knowing the relevancies, relativities, connectivities, we easily record the changes of the past, present and future. So containing a subject index at the end is necessary in a fine textbook. Containing a lesson units framed by teachers. A good textbook will enable the pupils to derive the maximum benefit. They find its material meaningful and relevant. Promoting group effort. A good textbook should contain suggestions for group projects on every topic. Assignments may be suggested with revisions to be jointly attempted by the groups. There should be suggestions on constructing models, preparing charts, etc. Assignments is the preface, introductory part of our main material of any course. Our assignments is the first impression that takes us towards the preparation of the examination, that tells how have we framed ideas, thoughts and phases of the main body of the thesis or writings. So dear friends, it is very necessary to have an ideal textbook, critical book that can help our learners and teachers. What are the advantages of textbook? One is giving definite intonation. First advantage of textbook is giving definite intonation. With providing punctuation marks, any textbook can be read correctly and naturally. Textbook contains narratives, details. They are a storehouse of basic information. They guide the pupils in knowing the essentials and how much they should remember. Establishing common background of basic information on the pair of all the pupils. Textbooks help in introducing all the pupils to the key ideas of the unit. They can acquaint them with the vocabulary. Thus, they help pupils learn enough to proceed intelligently. Setting exercise. A textbook contains exercises for setting the logic and imagination of students. Exercise may be set for compiling the list of the things people would have used or needed in certain circumstances. Questions can be set on the illustrations given in the textbook. Learning composition. Compositions help the child to think of events as actually happened They give him opportunity to use his imagination in transforming textbook information into something personal and vivid. Summarizing learning. A good textbook summarizes the learning of the unit activities, serving as a point of departure. Textbook serves as a point of departure for unit study, a frequent point of recall, and a point of return. So these are the basics of the textbooks that must be kept in mind before teaching by the teacher in their classrooms. That will enhance their capabilities, that will make them skilled, talented, and well-mannered in teaching English to our scholars and learners. Dear friends, in this present time we see our present Prime Minister Modi ji started Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana for developing the ideas and thoughts of skills. Later on, Mukhyamantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana was started for creating skillful India. So dear friends, let us remember and recall our nature, how starters, beginners and initiators of this universe and nation started writing in praise of nature. It is really praiseworthy, admirable and appreciable. The study of nature, behavior with nature will make our youngsters multi-dimensional, multi-sided, multifaceted. Nature feels its colors in us. India itself is a natural country with having great diversity, which is the greatest feature in the world. There are many uniquenesses, incompatibilities, unparallelednesses Indian Holy Motherland has. That is the recordable and historical thing in the world. That's why our Indians becomes for starter, initiator and beginner in all the different fields of agriculture, industry, communication, transportation, post office, railways, banks and hospitals. Even in schools and colleges, we see through this modern technology, digitalized world, we see that there is a great expansion in the information technology, revolution in information technology, really a great advancement in science. In 20th and 19th century period, we see in the history, there it brought exploitation, slavery, injustices. Ultimately, it became the cause of First World War, then Second World War. So the misuse of the technology, misuse of the industrialization might brought it. And there was the destruction of the humanity. So every technology, every advancement in digitalized world, we must use properly as per the intention, as per knowing the demerits, downs and disadvantages. We have to be careful, otherwise in future we will spoil our nature and we will forget our past, our nationalistic heritage that our forefathers, foretellers, forecasters gave us to expand, to modify. So we are to maintain its spiritual standard in the world by being honest, sincere towards the nature, by being friendly country and familiar with our surroundings, definitely then God bless us. In air, fire, soil, sky and water, we all feel the presence of Lord. But Swami Vivekananda, who went to the USA, Chicago in 1893, addressed by saying, "My brothers and sisters of the America," these words brought purification, catharsis, purgation in the minds of the ministers, advocates, advertisers, administrators and advisors. Really, the great message of Indian land is the most powerful message for the worldly people that is being provided by our present Dr. Modi ji, by his individual presence at such places which are being recreated, regenerated and reoperated. Your presence is praiseworthy, admirable and appreciable today as we are listening the words, thoughts and ideas conveyed of our holy motherland by being nationalistic and patriotic person of this society. Thanks dear friends, thanks brothers.